What's your problem? So, 3 weeks ago I found out my wife of 3.5 years had been cheating on me for 3 years. I almost think she wanted me to find out. I've always been an open, honest person with her. I let her read my emails and Facebook and anything else she wanted. She would freak out if I got into a conversation with a woman. I mean women that I knew as purely platonic friends, married with children that I have known for 10+ years. It made her upset and I didn't want to harm our marriage, so I cut off every relationship I had with any woman. I'll try not to post with 20/20 hindsight. 3 weeks ago, she told me that different men on Facebook had seen her profile picture and given her compliments. One day she left her phone upstairs while I was watching our son and she was downstairs on the computer. I thought it would be nice to read compliments about how beautiful my wife was, so I picked up her phone, no password, and logged into Facebook. I opened up the first set of posts from a man she had told me was her cousin. What I read was a long series of extremely dirty pictures, videos, and exchanges. I read back 2 months worth of daily exchanges and realized I couldn't handle it. Not at all, so I went and grabbed 2 sets of clothes, screamed at her that she had to take care of our son. I included some fierce profanity, which I regret. It scared my son, and I left. I immediately went to a friend's house and spent the night. The next day she was contacting me at 5 a.m. telling me to come talk to her. It was Sunday, I didn't have to work, so I went back home. My emotions were still completely out of control. She told me she had been cheating on me for the last year. But my naive trust had been shattered, and after 8 years of living together I knew she was lying. I told her I was going to divorce her if she didn't start telling me the truth. She told me she had been cheating on me for 3 years. That encompasses almost our entire marriage and the birth of our child. All with the same guy. She told me she wanted to make things work and that I could look at her phone, Facebook, and emails to reassure that she had stopped. I said, "Give me your phone," and she did. I opened up Facebook and found she had tried to delete everything. But she doesn't understand computers enough to know how to properly delete things. I found that she told JF that her husband had found out about them. He responded, "I have to unfriend you," and he unfriended her. She sent him private messages trying to get him to continue their relationship. This was not her stopping. I also found out that he was playing 2 other girls and bragging about it to my wife. They were just toys for his fantasies. I totally freaked out. It was a terrible decision, but I was not able to handle my emotions. I made threats against my family which, like everything in those first 3 days, I regret terribly. Again, I left and spent the day and night at a friend's house. She contacted me and told me she had arranged marriage counseling for the next day. She told me she had printed me a map and directions and would tape them to the inside door of our house. The next day I went to work with some difficulty, drove home and got the map, and went to the marriage counselor's office 2 hours early. I wanted to make sure I was early so that I would have plenty of time to calm down, make sure I didn't say anything stupid, and clear my head. I decided I would tell her I loved her and I would go to marriage counseling and I would try to make things work. She was very late to the marriage counseling appointment. I was outside the office standing next to the only ashtray smoking. I started smoking cigarettes the day I found out she was cheating. After 10 years quit, I would step out into the open hallway every time I heard footsteps so I could tell her what I planned on telling her. Eventually she did show up and I stepped out and called out her name. She started running, full speed, jumped in her car and peeled out full speed. I didn't know why she acted that way. She knew I would be there. She had to drive past my car to park where she was, and she invited me and printed me a damn map. The next day I was served a restraining order. It took a while for me to get the police to give me a copy. 10 days actually. There were 2 reasons the restraining order was granted. 1, I threatened my family. Absolutely true, but I would never hurt anyone, never have, and was acting under an abnormal amount of stress, jealousy, rampant emotion, and was not what I would call stable. But there is nothing I can do to take it back. The second reason is she said I was waiting right around the corner when she went to marriage counseling and leapt out, 3 to 5 feet away, and started screaming threats at her. I filmed the video with the help of a family member showing that I was actually about 45 feet away from her when she took off running. A mutual friend who trusts me more than her told me that she was posting about taking out a restraining order on me the next day, so I went home and got my computer, clothes, and a few other things. While I was gathering my stuff, the police showed up and served me a restraining order. They discussed it for about half an hour, talking about how it didn't look right and there should be more pages, how there was no judge's signature, and they have never seen a restraining order that lacked so much information. My wife was with them, but she stood far back and that was the last time I've seen her. They asked her if this was the whole restraining order and she said it was. My lawyer eventually got the order and there were 6 pages, out of 9, missing from what the police gave me. Since I had my computer, I hooked it up and logged into her account. We always trusted each other, or so I thought, and so there were never any passwords on anything. Everything with a password had an auto login. I checked her Facebook and she had deleted her account. Then I found another account, and another one, all deleted. I checked her email, just like she said I could, to build trust, and nothing was there, so I went into the trash folder. Like I said, she doesn't understand computers. In the trash folder I found an email between her and JF where she was trying to tell him she loved him, and he told her that the reason our marriage ended was because she used all her energy on him and ignored me, that it was her fault, and he wanted nothing to do with her unless she wanted to hide her phone on video and record herself performing physical acts on other men, then send them to him. That was the end of their conversation. Since the restraining order has been in place, she has never given me our son for the standard visitation that it lists in the order. She gives me him about a third of the time that I'm supposed to get. She has also tried on a daily basis to get me to go to marriage counseling. I had already read up on restraining orders, and one thing I learned was that if I show up at a marriage counselor and she is there, or she shows up, then I have broken the restraining order and I go to prison and she gets our child. Every day she would, through our mediator, another long story, try to set up marriage counseling. It took me a week to get a lawyer, and he explained to me how we could have marriage mediation. It has to be at the courthouse, in the police station, with a police officer present, in separate rooms, with us communicating purely through a mediator while we sit in separate rooms, and each party has to pay half no matter what. One party cannot pay for the entire thing. I had my mediator explain this to her mediator and offered to have my mediator give her a gift of the exact amount of money she would need to pay for marriage mediation. I know she doesn't have any money. Suddenly she wasn't interested in making things work anymore. Now instead of trying to set up marriage counseling every day, she told me that she would decide if she wanted a divorce on the exact day of the restraining order hearing. My lawyer, hearing all of this, has insisted that I file for a divorce as soon as possible to basically get the jump on them. I have screenshots, friends' testimony, and other evidence that she was cheating on me. I have evidence that she lied to the police. I have evidence that she is violating her own restraining order by not granting me standard custody. I have been very careful to note everything, take dated and time-stamped pictures of everything, and just covering my bases. But I don't want a divorce. I want things to work. But all the people I trust are telling me that I'm not thinking straight and I need to do what the lawyer says. That it's over and I need to move on. I mean, things were getting pretty bad at the end. She was refusing to have any type of activity with me for the last year, and if we did do anything, I never felt like she was into it. But the last month she insisted we start trying to have a second child. And we were. And I'm terrified she's pregnant. And what about my first child? He is my son no matter what. I don't care what anyone says, but I have terrible nightmares that he's not. I'm sleeping 2-3 hours a night. My doctor prescribed me some pill that's supposed to disrupt your REM cycle so I won't have nightmares because she's not happy with me sleeping so little. I just can't stand to lie there in the dark with such horrible images in my mind. And when I do fall asleep, I have nightmares non-stop. I have all the same questions that everyone has. Why did this happen? What did I do? What should I have done? Why is she trying to set me up to go to behind bars? Someone I've known for over 10 years and been with for so long. How could I be so naive for so many years? I mean, with 20/20 hindsight, it was pretty obvious. Refusing any type of activity with me, to matter what I tried, while lying next to me in bed while looking at her phone. And anytime I tried to see what she was looking at, she would freak out, run out of the room, and I guess she would delete whatever was on her phone. I just trusted her. Isn't that what you do when you marry someone? When you have children with them? I never did anything. What would I hide? The last 6 months she would accuse me of cheating on her anytime I went and hung out with my friends. So, I gave her everyone I would hang out with's phone number so she could call them and have them hand their phone to me to make sure I was actually hanging out with them. It was so bizarre, but I just figured she had low self-esteem and I didn't want her to think I was cheating on her. So, I went along with it all. The end of the story so far. Should I do what my lawyer, my family, my friends, all say and just divorce her? What about my son? He's all I really care about anymore, and I want him to have a happy family, not like the family I grew up in. The day after I found out, I threatened violence against my entire family. I regret it and would never do it, but I made the threat. I am not violent. Being bipolar does not make you violent. I don't know why you think that, but you clearly don't understand bipolar disorder. I have no history of violence. The second point was her claiming that at the marriage counselor appointment that she made the day after I threatened my family. Apparently this is important because it lends credence to the fact that she was not actually afraid of my threat. Why would she make a marriage counselor appointment with me and then show up if she thought I was going to kill her? Anyway, I got there 2 hours early to calm down and make sure I was in the state of mind to make things work. She showed up 15 minutes late, turned the corner, saw me 45 heel-to-toe steps of my feet away. I called out her name and she took off running. In the police report she claimed I was right around the corner 3 to 5 feet away. I have a video showing how far away we were, where we were parked, etc. My lawyer also says that it doesn't make sense for her to run away the second she sees me when she made the appointment, called me to tell me about it, printed me a map, and wrote me out directions. We are moving forward. I am getting an STD test. As much as it pains me, I am going to request a DNA test on my son. I still have people we both knew whom I'm trying to convince to file affidavits for me. They are worried about it, even though I keep telling them that I just want them to tell the truth and they don't even need to give me the affidavit. Just tell the truth and sign it. My wife is making all kinds of weird accusations to people. She has been telling everyone that the reason she isn't sleeping in our house, where my son's toys, bed, etc. are, is because she thinks I'm going to blow up the house. I have no idea how she got this idea. She has been telling people lots of lies, and as far as I figured, it was her way of trying to keep herself afloat in the fake bubble world she has created so she doesn't have to face the truth, which is pretty simple. She cheated for years, and now it's coming to an end because of not just one decision she made, but at least one terrible decision pretty much every single day for years. So, my wife's mother came over to drop my son off for my visitation. Once again, they are refusing to give me my proper time with him. But they brought me some of my mail. Not all of it, I still don't have my last paycheck. But more importantly, in the mail there was a denial letter for an application for a credit card. Denied due to too much debt to income. It was addressed to my wife's address. Of course, I called the credit card company immediately and explained the situation. Only 2 people in this world know the personal info you would need for a credit card app. Me and her. So, they transfer me to fraud, have me record approval to release information to my lawyer and the police. Going to move forward with this Monday. Like one of my friends, who's gone through 2 divorces, has been telling me, protect myself, don't do anything stupid, keep notes on everything, and just keep giving her rope until she hangs herself. This is the best news I've heard since we separated. Well, she is living with her mother, who has always had an irrational hatred of men. She also has one friend who was my friend until I found out that this particular person has known about the affair the entire time and encouraged her to participate. This friend also has cheated on her husband twice, and they separated, then got back together for their kids. She is a two-faced liar, and for a while I was using her to feed bull crap information to my wife. Then I decided I needed to tell her she's not my friend and to leave me alone because I was going to get angry at her. I don't know if she's still in communication with the other guy. From what I read in her account's trash folders, after she gave me permission to look at them to prove that it was over, was that he told her everything was her fault and that he no longer wanted anything to do with her. Meanwhile, she kept trying to continue the relationship and turn it into something serious. It never appeared to be going that direction. She was just acting out his fantasies. But then again, I don't know. Getting a VAR sounds like a good idea. I have recently gotten evidence that she has been attempting to commit several counts of identity X and open credit cards in my name. I have all the details of when I called, who I called, the name of the person I spoke with, what they said, etc. and I've put my skip tracing skills to work and have just been gathering evidence. I won't get to see my lawyer until Monday, but I'm torn on what to do. I mean, the evidence overwhelmingly points to it being her, but I can't guarantee it. Well, I can maybe 99% guarantee it, but there's that sliver of doubt, and if it is here, I don't know that I want to press charges. I grew up without a mom and I don't want to put my son in that position. I'm not sure if I'm acting stupidly though. I have already decided to simply take all my documentation to my lawyer on Monday and let him tell me what is best. And then today, at 9:40 a.m. I got this message. Happy Thanksgiving, please stop thinking the worst of me, I love you. Sent from a phone number I don't recognize. So of course, I am not going to respond. If it's her, I'd be breaking the restraining order. I'm not sure why she is initiating contact with me now, but my family have been telling me to ignore it. Ignore everything she says, document it all, and move forward with my life. So, I guess that's what I'll do. 2 weeks later, I won my restraining order case. I'm so happy that this one step is over, and somehow, I won. My lawyer kept telling me that I need to be prepared for the commissioner to issue a 2-year protective order because of the threat I made. Turns out my wife only had 2 pieces of evidence, the threat and a police report. The police report was obvious garbage. The police wrote down that they heard me screaming I'm going to kill myself repeatedly, which never happened and was simply a complete lie. They also stated that my wife was present in the home. She was not there and I had pictures to prove it. I was at my mother's-in-law house trying to get my son. After they wrote what they heard me say, they then stated that they arrive on scene. I was in my vehicle and never actually stepped foot on the property. So how did they hear what I said if they weren't even there? Stupid police. My lawyer killed evidence number 2 with some objection. Then for the threat, well, my wife copied and pasted it. She didn't ever screenshot it or take a picture of it. And that was her Facebook account that was filled with years of information about her affair. The one she completely deleted. So, there was no way for her to prove I actually said that stuff. My lawyer said, objection, hearsay, and bam, it was gone. We had 11 pieces of evidence, including 4 letters from psychological experts that I have seen over the last 5 years. Videos I made to prove that the police report was a lie. And 1 killer piece of evidence that I did screenshot, where she stated that whenever she is driving on the freeway in the car with us, me, my child, and herself, all she could think of doing was crashing into the cement barricade or oncoming traffic and killing us all. He didn't even present a single piece of evidence because they had nothing. He says he will just save that evidence in case it is needed for the divorce hearing. Now I can go back to my house. I can talk to my wife, though I have no intention of talking to her ever again, at least for a while, because I'm sure we will have to talk about our son. I can't get arrested anymore. I feel like I'm finally a free man. Oh, what a wonderful day. I'm sure it helps that I have a real lawyer who I have now paid $5,000 and will be paying him more. And she had a state-appointed lawyer. Then they changed her lawyer. And, just today on the day of the hearing, they changed her lawyer again. The new lawyer had to represent 14 clients today. My lawyer was there for me. I knew all the evidence he intended to present. We practiced on how to address the commissioner, what I should say, when I should wait to get advice from him, so much stuff. And none of it mattered. I document everything, and I get everyone in the house to document everything. For reasons I can't explain, there is always a minimum of one third-party nurse in my home who is not involved, and I get them to document everything as well. I take multiple pictures and my phone date and time stamps them. I called DCF to report what was happening. I sent them the 4 sets of pictures and let them make copies of all my documents, signed and dated, by at least 9 different people. I am not worried about that. They have told me that they have assigned 2 investigators who do random visits to daycare, her house, and her mom's house every week. They are not coming to my house. I grew up with DCF in my house for 4 years before the state took my family away and broke us up. I am somewhat familiar with how they work and how painstakingly slow it is. But I have an excellent lawyer who is involved in my case, and I, honestly, don't feel afraid of any accusations she is making. The most current accusation is that I am stealing her mail. I think this is happening because she is applying for credit cards in my name. Still, but I now have mail forwarding, so I get the letters straight here. She doesn't know I have mail forwarding, and being a little bit of an idiot, I didn't set it up until last Friday. Thanks for the concern though. I will keep doing what I always do. Check him for wounds as soon as he arrives, and they have to sign him in, date, time, signature, every single time. Then if I find anything, everyone documents it and I take a bunch of pictures. It shows that he arrived with the wounds. So, I really feel pretty safe from such accusations. I'm not sure what I would do if she accused me of abusing her, but she accompanied me to many of my psychological visits because she wanted to talk to my psychiatrist, and nothing about abuse or violence of any kind ever came up. I already have those letters. And if I abused her, why would she never have reported it? And to take this long to report it. She is now on the internet asking people if they think she should just go to mediation and get it over with. She doesn't realize that her internet friends, some of them, are not her friends. They have known me much longer, trust me much greater, and contact me with everything. I have been asking them to encourage her into mediation just so we can get this divorce over with. I still have lots of negotiation tactics, as my lawyer calls them, that we didn't even have to present at the restraining order hearing because her lawyer just dropped everything once my lawyer destroyed all of his evidence. My attorney filed the divorce petition and parental rights agreement last Thursday. He said that since she is getting her lawyer from the Legal Aid Society, they will force her to write her own petition, or she will have to come up with money to hire a lawyer to write one, money she doesn't have. I think I will get a VAR just in case, and I'll just tell her and her mother, who is much worse, that I am recording this conversation every time I talk to either of them. At the very least, it will get them to stop asking me to write down your driver's license for the lawyer and other crap. I guess I just want to do what is best for my son, but I don't want to put my feet in the fire. Getting the recorded has really paid off. Not only have the false police report stopped, but I've used it to record conversations with insurance companies and for the Identity X stuff. Been able to prove that she moved her and my son in with another man and never told me. Man, I didn't realize that her getting a temporary protective order, based on her lies and no input from me, would set a precedent for how often I get to see my son, and now we have to show proof that it's beneficial to break that precedent. These temporary protective orders are some real baloney. You don't have to present any evidence to get one, and the other person can't respond in any way for months, and by then the precedent is set. Court is February 28th. She's seeking sole custody, which is just stupid. I've got a massive proof about her affairs now, including all of her phone and text records, and all the stuff I got from her email and internet history. Too bad she immediately erased her Facebook. The most horrible stuff I've ever had to face in my life was there. I won't get a paternity test done. I don't care what people say. I don't care about it. He calls me daddy, he hugs me, kisses me, demands that I hold him all the time, and I've raised him his whole life. Why do I need to have a paternity test done? Honestly, I don't want to know, but I desperately do. I guess I'm just happy with what I believe. Getting her phone records really didn't help. Seeing her calling and texting other men 15 times a day, every day, during the time he was conceived, or course always when I wasn't home, but he's still mine. Why should I put that at risk? Why should I risk never getting visitation again just to know something? I know enough. I'm not going to lose my son. I've lost enough, but I've moved on and found my life in a strange new place. Not sure how to deal with this new life, but it sure is a surprise. So, it looks like it would be best to record the entire test, with witnesses, just in case. I can easily do that, and he'll never have to know. Maybe once he turns 18. Even then I don't know if I'd share the results with him. Not if he's not mine. But what do I do if I find out he's not mine? Bring it to the courts. Then will he find out? I don't want him to find out. But, more importantly to me, I do not want to lose my rights to visitation. Does everyone understand that? I will not lose my right to see my son, even if he's not biologically mine. He hugs me, kisses me, plays with me, laughs and laughs, calls me daddy, and he loves me. I will not do anything to risk losing that. Things are less confusing now, but they are still confusing. I doubt that will ever end. 10 years together, ends in one day, in 1 hour. Worst day of my life. But my son, he's mine. Waking up every day to cook him and her breakfast. Cook them both dinner every night. Taught him so much. Get me my hugs and kisses. Watch him dance to stupid Nick Jr., bands and other music. Swing him around until he's too dizzy to stand up, then hold him up while he laughs and stumbles. So much, that will never go away. I'm glad I can get a private test just so I can know. I don't know if I'll ever tell him. But that is so many years into the future. I'll be much older, hopefully, so much more mature, intelligent, and capable of doing the right thing. The truly right thing. At least in my state he is considered a state resident, so she can't move him out of state, or even more than 50 miles from me, without my permission and a judge's permission. She'll never get that, so I will always be able to see him. Hell, she can't even take him out of state without it being kidnapping. Not without my permission. Which, at this point, with all the evilness, the spite, the anger, and the insanity, I will never grant to her. Well, I've moved on. 5 dates since then, but I didn't like the crazy. I'm not into sleeping together on the first date. I really don't appreciate crazy women telling me that I'm not a real man because I won't do something I won't do on the first date. But, strangely enough, a girl, she's just a girl to me, has been chasing me for a while. Then I got set up on a blind date, and guess who was there? Her. Blind date for me, right. But 15 years age difference seems hard to get over. Who knew that some girl, so much younger than me, would be interested? I feel like such a cad. But I like her for a lot of reasons. She's tough, not intimidated by anyone, beautiful, and doesn't pressure me. And, I have to admit, I would love to rub it into my ex's face. Is this a midlife crisis? Something else? Who knows? I'm just going to take things a day at a time. Really, I just want someone who will love me the way I love. No games, no cheating, no worrying about staying at home just to make sure they aren't sleeping with some other guy. No telling me I can't have friends who are women. Happily married women that I've been friends with for 10+ years. For Christ's sake. And I never want to go to a party again and have my wife get wasted and spend the entire time hitting on other guys. But I know all the red flags by now. I know what to not ever put up with again. It's all been a learning experience. If I wasn't such a fool, I would have figured everything out so much sooner. But trust can be abused. Yes, trust. I have so many trust issues now. I don't want to have them. I promised myself I wouldn't have them. I've worked at getting rid of them. But they just won't seem to go away. The woman that I'm dating now is really upset that I wear my old wedding ring around my neck on a chain. But it doesn't mean anything romantic. It's my reminder of what to look for, to look out for. It's my reminder of how to be a better husband, a better father, a better boyfriend. To remind myself of 10 years of my life that will never go away. I guess if it keeps upsetting her, I'll take it off, but I wish she'd realize it means nothing romantic to me. It's just there to help me learn. I often work the graves, since that's when most of the crap goes on. I'm PD, so I deal with a lot of crap. Half of my partners care about everything. Half of them let the small stuff go with a stern warning. I don't want to ruin someone's life over something that I think is inconsequential, but I run the risk of losing my job every time I do that. Whatever, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. My lawyer told me not to go back to school, and to get every day off I can, to get better visitation. So, I'm stuck in that boat for now. I really don't get paid enough to deal with all the crap I have to deal with. Can't wait to finish school. 2 more semesters and I'll have my bachelor's in software development. Make so much more money doing something I love. Not that I don't love my job, I really do. But more money to do something else I love to do, and I mean way more money, would be awesome. Filed for divorce on December 4th. Now I'm just playing the waiting game. My comment, tomorrow will bring the updated ending of this, with a 5-year update. A positive ending, so subscribe and see you very soon.